Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something you use all the time, probably without even noticing it. We're going to pull back the curtain on metric prefixes. All right, so check this out. Look at this number. That's a billion. I mean, it's a huge number, for sure. But wow, what a pain to write, right? And trying to read it quickly, you got to count all those zeros, is just a lot. And seriously, who has time for that? Writing out all those zeros is just tedious. And if you miscount them, even by one, your whole calculation is thrown off. It's clunky, it's inefficient. There's just got to be a better way. So you have to wonder, right? Isn't there a smarter way to deal with these kinds of numbers? Especially these really, really big ones. And as you're about to see, the really, really small ones too. Well, of course there is. And that's what we're here to talk about. It's called the prefix solution. And it's this really elegant, super powerful system that's designed to do one thing: tame all those wild zeros. Okay, so what is a metric prefix? Think of it like a nickname or a shorthand. It's just a little symbol you stick in front of a unit, like a meter or a gram. And its whole job is to multiply that unit by a power of 10. That's it. Super simple. And you can see the magic right here. Before, you'd have to write out 1,000 grams, but with a prefix, it just becomes 1 kilogram. That little K for kilo literally just takes the place of those 3 zeros. It's so much cleaner, so much faster to read. And this is way more than just a cool trick. It's basically a universal language. Scientists, engineers, doctors, they all use these shortcuts to talk about huge or microscopic measurements without any confusion. Honestly, it's a system that so much of our modern world is built on. All right, so let's dig into how this whole system is built. The best way to think about it is like you're zooming in and out. You can scale way up to see the big picture or zoom way down to see the tiny details. And it all starts from one central point. And that central point is what we call a base unit. Like a meter for how long something is, or a gram for how much it weighs. That's our starting line, our 1. So from that base unit, we can start scaling up, making things bigger. You've got deca, which means 10 times, then hecto for 100 times, and the one everybody knows, kilo, which is 1,000 times bigger. That's exactly why 1 kilometer is just 1,000 meters. But what's really cool is that we can go the other way too. We can scale down. So we have prefixes like deci for a tenth, centi for 100th, and milli for 1,000th. It makes perfect sense, right? That's why you have 100 centimeters in a meter. And here's where you see the real power of the system. It doesn't just stop there. Nope. We can keep going smaller and smaller, all the way down to the microscopic level with things like micro and nano. It's pretty amazing. Okay, I know this might feel a little bit like a science lesson, but trust me, these things are everywhere. They're hiding in plain sight in your everyday life. Let's find some. Just think about it for a second. How far is the next town? It's in kilometers. How much space is on your phone? Gigabytes. That bottle of soda you're drinking, it's measured in milliliters. The dose of that pain reliever, milligrams. See, you're already using this stuff like a pro, and you probably didn't even think twice about it. All right, now that you see how it works, let's have a little fun with it. Time for a quick pop quiz to see what you've learned. You ready for this? Okay, question 1. How many meters are in 2 kilometers? Just take a second and think, what does kilo mean again? You got it. 2,000 meters. Kilo just means 1,000, so it's 2 times 1,000. Easy peasy. See? You've got this. Okay, let's try one from the other direction. Which prefix means 10 to the power of -3? In other words, 1,000th. Yes, it's milli. If you said milli, you are spot on. A millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. Awesome. All right, last one. Here we go. True or false? The prefix centi means 10 to the -1 or 1/10. Ooh, that one is false. That's a super common mistake, so don't worry if you tripped up. Centi means 100th. Think century or cents in a dollar. The one that means 1/10 is deci. But hey, you did a great job with that little quiz. It really all boils down to this one simple but really powerful idea. We use these prefixes so we don't have to write out all those zeros. They're just clean, simple stand-ins for powers of 10. So, what's the bottom line here? Well, you've basically just learned a whole new language. It's the language of scale. Now you can look at really big or really small numbers and not get intimidated. You can spot these prefixes on food labels, medicine bottles, and you really get the system that helps the whole world talk about measurements. It's a pretty big deal.
So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Now that you know what to look for, what's the first metric prefix you're going to spot out in the real world today? Because I promise you, now that you're looking, you are going to see them absolutely everywhere.